Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of The Huddle. Tim Pool here, and I'm with Russ Yershon, Director of Connecting Brands. Russ, you've been with us before. Thanks for joining again.
Pleasure, Tim. Look forward to talking about everything we're going to talk about today. There's lots going on in the world of sports betting.
Yeah, absolutely. These conversations are like a bit of a cheat for me because we're talking about the industry, but we get to talk about football and darts, and it's almost just like we're having a chat, really. But that's what we're doing, but there's plenty to gain from kind of everyday footballing topics. You've been in the business a few years. How has sports sponsorship changed in that time? That's quite a broad question. There's a lot of directions you can go, I'm sure.
Yeah, 20 years ago I started in the industry, and sports sponsorship was still very big then. But now the Asian market obviously exploded, I think probably about a decade ago, with lots of shirt sponsorships from the Asian market. And then obviously there's lots of smaller brands that have come into the market and look to do the sponsorship, whether it's football, horse racing, darts is massive, boxing. So there's lots of sports where sponsorship is really strong at the minute. And the betting brand, the betting space is big. The ambassadorship as well, sponsoring talent is really strong as well, because that day-to-day content that you get, the insights, it's really powerful tool of acquisition, retention, and reactivation.
Yeah, I think a really big trend in the last few years, you've got sponsorship, you've got ambassadors, and you've got, I guess, influencers. They're all different words, but they're all kind of overlapping, which is kind of a pun. So we might talk about the overlap in a bit. But what do you think of? What are your thoughts on how this kind of trend has gone? So you've got someone like a Mark Goldbridge, and you've got loads of independent podcasts, and it's not just about necessarily. Even though a lot of betting firms are on the shirt or on the sleeve, as we may talk about later, there's a lot of this kind of, as you say, sponsoring content. What do you make of that trend?
I think when we look back 20 years and we spoke about sponsorship, we look back now. We look at now. Social media is the game changer, and ultimately for a sports betting brand, what are your consumers doing day in, day out? What media are they consuming? Why are they consuming it? How long are they consuming it? And that is where you get the influencers such as Mark Goldbridge. That's where you get the overlap that Gary Neville produces. That's where you get The Rest is Football with Gary Lineker. That's where you get the fan channels such as Arsenal Fan TV. The 18 plus betting audience are consuming these channels day in, day out. They're appearing on their social media platforms. They're subscribing to YouTube channels. And if you're a betting brand, you need to be there. Yes, you can be on the front of a shirt in the Premier League or the Championship if you're a UK brand. Yes, you could sponsor a big boxing event. Yes, you could sponsor a big darts event for either a weekend or a week. But day in, day out, if you want your punters betting on sports or cross-selling and betting on casino and staking on casino, these punters are looking at these influencer channels. They're subscribing. They're watching these crazy guys at times talk about how passionate they are about their team, and these former players, World Cup winners, Premier League winners, Champions League winners. They've been there, done it. They've got the T-shirt. Every new day there's a football story. Now we're coming into the start of the Premier League, so there's transfers happening day in, day out. These experts are doing shows to their audiences, talking about Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal, Barcola to Liverpool. Is that going to happen? Is it not? Areola's Liverpool, what's that going to look like? Alonso, Chelsea spending an absolute fortune. Are Chelsea real title contenders? This is what's going on, and the betting audience want to hear, or they are hearing what these former players are talking about, and they get the in association with Sky Bet, in association with Paddy Power, in association with Midnight. So yeah, the brand awareness day in, day out it's getting what it needs to done, which is getting punters on the site.
The traditional shirt sponsorships, even though they may have slightly changed on where on the shirt, they're still popular. But given what you're saying there, are we at a stage now where actually, sponsoring talent or content or in association with a podcast or a kind of transfer show, is that now more powerful than the traditional sponsorships?
Depends on what brand and region you're looking to target. Because we've just seen Betway with an absolutely humongous training wear partnership with Manchester United. Betway operate globally in many, many legalized territories. That's a massive partnership for them. I've gone on record and says a huge awareness play because they're in so many territories around the world. They can partner with Manchester United, and they know that their brand is going to be seen in territories where they don't need to spend so much locally, because globally people are watching the Premier League week in, week out, and Manchester United is still an absolute global powerhouse. The Betway brand is going to be seen because the training wear, players wear it when they're training day in, day out. On match day, all the subs will wear it. I don't know whether all the coaches are going to wear it. So the brand is going to be there all the time, plus the LED and the content that's going to be produced in all these regions around the world. It's a massive play. But more locally, say you're a UK brand, a small, medium-sized UK brand, or a big challenger brand, you want to try and get into that top tier. The sponsoring of these big podcasts that have got big number of followers now is definitely the right way to go, because whatever partnership you agree for how many times the production of it can go on air, your brand's going to be seen, and you can integrate it, and you can get good brand exposure, and it's also very, very relevant content as well.
Betway is an interesting example because they sponsored West Ham, and I remember West Ham featured a lot in the Ted Lasso show, so you're actually kind of seeing Betway all over that show as well. Which I'm not sure the details. I'm not sure whether that was meant or not or planned, a long time ago. But that was at least a little bonus. And the Man United deal you talk about, interesting also because I think Supergroup CEO he sort of the first thing he said, or in the release, he said United's audience is very big in Africa, and he kind of just emphasized that. So I thought it was interesting that as you say, the global reach.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to add as well, when you say West Ham, Betway, and Ted Lasso, sometimes you just get a gift where your brand can get associated with something that you haven't paid for, or it just so happens that they're creating this show and they were using the London Stadium, and there's Betway branding that is in there. For me, as a working for many UK challenger brands, the big thing for them is if they partner a team in the Championship, or even if they're partnering team in League One, if you then draw a Premier League team in the League Cup or an FA Cup, and it's live on ITV or it's live on BBC, the awareness you get from that is just gold dust. I remember many, many years ago working with LV Bet. We just partnered with West Brom, and then the first game after the partnership was when they played Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, live on Sky. Great LED branding. You get the media backdrop where the Arsenal manager is talking in front of LV Bet branded boards. It's an awesome way to start a partnership. So there are ways where things that you can't control, but if you're in that space, you have the chance for the Championship team or League One team that you partner with to face one of the big boys live on Sky, BBC, ITV now, and it's fantastic. The awareness can be insane, especially ITV as well now, really putting their money behind the Championship and having games on ITV1. These audiences are phenomenal. And again, you're getting your brand there when the match is live.
Interesting points. I think Millwall West Ham is going to be live on ITV. I mean that's something that the whole country can watch for free. Could be a tasty fixture, that one.
Yeah, ITV have really hit the nail on the head with some of the games that they've picked, these big rivalries. So, yeah, look, it'll be big audiences. There'll be big build-ups. Millwall, West Ham, they haven't played each other for many, many years. Boyle Sports now partnering with West Ham, front of shirt. They're going to get they spend a lot marketing-wise, but that exposure across that match is going to be outstanding. And for Millwall as well, they've got a betting partner, whoever they are, they're going to get some great exposure. So for these UK brands partnering with the championship now, the exposure is really, really strong. I think this is the strongest it's ever been, with ITV1 now covering, as well as obviously a highlights package, and Sky as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got a couple of questions on. There was a front of shirt sponsorship ban in the Premier League, but from what you're saying, and we've kind of established that there's a lot of value in partnering with a championship team or a football league team. Some operators like Betano, Aston Villa have stayed in the Premier League but gone on the sleeve. Is being on the sleeve effectively just as good as being on the front of the shirt?
Oh no, definitely not. The front of shirt is the powerhouse, but obviously now we have this change that you can't do that. So sleeve is obviously an excellent substitution. I think training wear is massively undervalued. Betway have got a great deal. BetMGM have done many training wear deals. Training wear is huge, because for me, you've got day in, day out of the training ground where these Premier League clubs are producing content all the time. There's value there during the week. There's also obviously on match day as well, with interviews with the manager. It gets phenomenal coverage, and during the match as well, when the camera pans to the subs and they're all wearing the training wear, warming up, players coming on. Yeah, it's training wear. I think is massively undervalued. It really does give outstanding branding.
So from an industry perspective, I think we're seeing that the benefits of a lot of these things we're talking about. But I guess from a regulator point of view, and neither of us can speak on behalf of the regulator, but they might see these as potential loopholes. So they thought we'll ban front of shirt, but then as we say, we've got sleeves, you've got training kit. You can go to a championship team just as much as you've got Premier League, and as you say, Sky Bet. I mean, they sponsor the football league. They're kind of with the overlap. Could we, if the industry keeps being creative? And you might argue it's not creative. It's just finding a slightly different way of doing what was the old fashioned method. But do you think regulators might kind of think, well, okay, they're taking the Mickey a little here?
Yeah, it's a fantastic point. The voluntary ban by the Premier League clubs for no betting brands on front of shirt was seen as, oh yeah, this is something that has been well overdue. But you are 100% right with the regulators. For me, there'll be little change in terms of how many brands from the gaming industry are getting exposure during that live match day viewing. The media boards are going to be filled with them, whether it's sleeve or training wear. It's going to be filled with them. LED boards as well. The number of minutes is still going to be very, very strong from the betting and gaming industry. So it's just that front of shirt that's gone, but the consumption of it in terms of viewing, you're still going to get a significant amount of brands that are on there, multiple brands that are going to be on the LED throughout the 90 minutes. Obviously, the big teams, the big six, they usually have just partners only. Whereas the smaller teams, they'll go to agencies like Sport 5, or they'll have non-exclusive betting brand LED partners. So they'll divvy them up into, say, 4 brands that will have 7 minutes each, and obviously fill the rest with their existing partners. So yeah, you'll still get a significant amount of brands popping up all over the Premier League.
We talked a lot about the UK, and I mean, rightly so. There's plenty to talk about, but a little bit east or south, but Italy, very similar at the moment in the sense that there's some big brands doing some infotainment partnerships, and obviously there's the Dignity Decree, which bans kind of gambling marketing and advertising, but this isn't technically gambling advertising. So, what are your thoughts on? I guess which we could say is probably more innovative creativity from the industry in Italy.
Yes, BetSun scores, Bet365 scores, news and live score websites. Yeah, it's really outstanding way from the industry that they can get their brand out there without promoting the betting brand on its own. Having a news site, a scores site, which has the latest scores from every football game and every sport around the world. It's what people view all the time. They've found a loophole. The industry regulators in Italy haven't caught onto it. They're happy to let it go. Why not? Kudos to the brands that have got these scores website, uh, and well done.
From football to darts, I know you do a bit of work in darts, or a lot of work in darts, and we both like the sport. Although I must say, and this leads into my next question, the sponsorship value in darts is, it's been there for a long time. During the World Championship, if it's not number two, it's the number one betting event at that period of time. But Luke Littler, since he's come into the sport, he's started to really dominate it. I think he's grown the profile of the sport. But I personally, and I feel bad saying this, but I'm watching less tournaments, and I'm maybe typical of the casual fan, because he's winning every single one of them. Is that good or bad for sponsorship and for the value?
In terms of sponsorship value, darts audiences are growing all the time. People do want to watch darts. They do want to be associated with darts. They do want to attend darts. It's the perfect audience for the betting brand. In terms of the sport itself, having seen Luke's first match on stage at Ali Pali and seen him up close and personal doing content with him and see him in these big finals, he has nerves of absolute steel, and he's playing each game with no pressure on his shoulders. Each double seems absolutely easy for him, and the longer the game goes on, so the World Championships, the Grand Slam of Darts that Mr. Vegas sponsor that I work in, the match play, Luke just will not get beat. He will not he will not get beat. He's that good. The longer the game, his averages are just insane. He's going to have to drop a significant standard for anyone, even Luke Humphries at the minute, to get anywhere near him. So I can see him dominating for many years to come, because he's just so good. The averages are insane. His finishing is insane, and there will be a drop off because I think his standards must slightly drop, but the other players, they're just going to have to work harder and harder. And when it comes to finishing, they're just going to have to be that little bit better than Luke, and that's going to be so difficult because he shows no pressure, especially when games get really tight. It's no bother to him. As a night out for fans, it's still outstanding. And even if you're sitting in the front row of the Alexandra Palace on finals night, you can't really see the board. You can't really see what is actually throwing out of his hand. You have to use a big screen. You have to feel the atmosphere. So it's just a phenomenal way to have a beer, enjoy yourself, have a sing song. And now, obviously, this year, Alexandra Palace, they've gone into a different room. There's going to be more fans there. It's going to be interesting to see whether the atmosphere is going to be as good. I think it will be. Um, so, yeah, it's still a massive sport for betting brands to be involved in.
So you don't think there's any danger of let's say Littler does the clean sweep this year, and then let's say he does it again next year. You don't think there might be a bit of a? I mean, obviously there'll still be the sponsorship value, the engagement, but it'll just be a little bit more boring as a sport.
Yeah, I think the only way it does get really boring is if Luke absolutely blitzes players in the latter stages, semi-final and final. If you get in the Paddy Power World Championships and Luke wins 7-0, 7-1, then yeah, people will switch off. But leading up to the final, the games are great. There's so many good players now, good players, but Luke is just that one step ahead that when it does come to quarterfinal, semi-final, final, and the games are getting longer and longer. I repeat myself, Luke's averages are just insane. His finishing is world class, and he must drop significant levels for others to compete and win.
Well, Russ, thanks very much for your time. I'm sure before we next speak, Luke Littler will have won another major tournament. But thanks for all your thoughts on cross football, darts, and sponsorship, and plenty to talk about now. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more to talk about the next time we speak.
Brilliant. Tim, thank you.